Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I hope all of you out there are having a great day today. I'd just like to welcome all of you out to our Google Plus webinar today. We do have a good turnout. Just like to again welcome all of you repeats who are out there as well. Good to see that you're still coming and still picking up from this. Um, so, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Dennis. I'm actually the social media manager here, and I also have Kim here with me. She can be helping to answer any questions that we have. That's the first thing I definitely want to specify is if you have any questions, please go ahead and ask them. There are no dumb questions, right? I mean, if you're new, you're not expected to know all of this in the beginning. And that kind of leads on to my next point is that for some of you, this might actually feel like a refresher course for you. And for others of you, it might feel like a fire hose in the mouth, right? I mean, it might just be, uh, you know, completely overwhelming. Social media hasn't been your cup of tea. And to be honest, Google Plus, out of the three social networks that we do cover in our webinar series, is the most advanced of the social networks. There's so much you can do with it. Uh, I mean, we do cover a lot of ground. So, with that said, just be patient with yourselves and just know that it will come in time. Okay, and then also, I just wanted to point this out to you as well. Make sure you are taking advantage of the socialwebinartraining.com page. Obviously, all of you have seen this or you wouldn't be attending the webinar today. But basically, we've broken this down into easy steps. Step one, watch the intro video. Step two, you can watch the guides. And then if you go down further, you can actually go ahead and view the pre-recorded webinars that we have for you, as well as set up to attend the live webinar. Uh, again, if you have questions, I will allot time at the end of the webinar, and then we can go ahead and address those questions one by one. So let's go ahead and get started now. With Google Plus, just to kind of give you a history here, as you know, Google is actually the most recognized brand in the world. There is not a single brand out there that is recognized more than Google. So with that said, just to give you history with Google Plus, which is actually Google's social network, their version of Facebook, if you will, they actually, saw that the internet was moving from a more stagnant place into a more open social environment, right? And Facebook was created around 2004. And when Google saw that, they recognized this and they saw the potential there, and they offered to buy Facebook. I think it was for something around $4 million. And now don't quote me on that, but it's pretty close to that. And Facebook, of course, declined that and said, no, we can definitely do better than this. We're just going to hold off. And through the years, Google has continued to offer to buy Facebook, and I believe the last offer that they offered them was around $6 billion. Now, of course, a lot of people kind of laugh at Google, because yeah, right, you're going to buy Facebook. Now, Google is a monster company, no doubt about it. But they just realized that they're never going to be able to get Facebook, right? And so they just decided to create their own social network. And of course, people laughed at that as well. You're not going to be able to compete. And this was about 4 years ago that Google decided that they were going to be creating Google Plus. And since then, Google Plus has just exploded. It is actually the second largest social media network next to YouTube and Facebook. Facebook being the largest, of course. Excuse me. But basically, yeah, it's incredible how fast it's grown. And part of the reason for that is number one, Google's products are very integrated. And so if you sign up for a Gmail account, you might be signing up for Google Plus and you didn't even realize it. And another reason is using Google Plus is actually going to do more for you, as you will see here, for your search engine optimization, your SEO, than any other social network out there. And part of the reason for that is because Google is of course biased towards their own product, right? But we'll go ahead and discuss all of these things today. That's kind of the history behind Google Plus. Now, my webinars, I generally like to break into three sections. If you will, I kind of go over the why, the what, and the how. So the why, should you be using Google Plus? There's so many social networks out there. What makes Google Plus important? Why should I be investing my time there? The second part, I like to go over the what. So what can you do with Google Plus? What are its features and what have you? And then after that, we'll go ahead and wrap up the webinar with discussing certain strategies and what you should be doing with the what, if you will. So with that said, let's go ahead and share some stats here with you. So Google Plus currently has over 540 million active users. Now, we did create this presentation for you about 2-3 months ago. I guarantee you this number has already changed. It's probably closer to 580 million plus if you just look at the results of how they're expanding. So it is currently the fastest growing social media site on the internet now. And that includes Facebook, right? So Facebook has the most, but their growth has actually slowed somewhat, whereas Google Plus has really taken off. And again, I'm not trying to knock Facebook. Facebook is amazing, and we've included it into this, but these are just some of the differences between the two. Okay, and like I've said, Google integrates all of their platforms and services that they offer, which is going to make it really convenient. For some of you smartphone users out there, you're going to know a little bit about Google Plus. Android operating system is actually Google. So if you've had that and you didn't even realize that, you probably already have a Google Plus account. So now, again, it's going to help you with your SEO. It's going to have a potential to reach a large amount of people, right? 500 million people is nothing to scoff at. And again, it's going to be doing more for your SEO than the other three just because Google is biased towards their own product, just to put it simple. So as a business, in fact, I'd even venture to say that doing Google Plus alone is going to do more for you than your Facebook and Twitter account. Now, again, every case is unique and case by case, but Google Plus is just a behemoth when it comes to this sort of thing. And what I mean by SEO is just a fancy way of saying if you're on page 10 right now, when people search for your product, you're now going to be pulling up on page 5 just for doing your social media, right? For doing Google Plus and for doing Facebook and Twitter, right? And so is really, really going to help with that. And as you continue to do your social media and you continue to do the right things, you're going to be showing Google that you're more and more relevant, and they're going to be continuing to move you up that page. And your ultimate goal is, of course, to be to page 1. Google Plus is the way to get there. Okay, now here's the breakdown. So Google Plus is for all ages and genders. It doesn't matter, right? If they're young, if they're old, if they're male or female, you're going to be able to reach them on Google Plus. Having said that, here's the breakdown for you. It is the fastest growing site of all age groups, but it is primarily made up of 66% males and 34% females. Now, of course, this number can change a little bit just because social media is changing and evolving so much. But, this is actually the reverse, as you will notice from, when we were discussing Facebook 2 days ago and Twitter yesterday. Mainly women are on those, right? And again, it's more balancing out now, but this is kind of the reverse. So if you have a product, for instance, that caters to men, Google Plus is your place. Okay, here's the breakdown for you worldwide. So currently there are 36 million users in America, 25 million in South America. Interestingly enough, the largest Google network is actually in Africa. There's 48 million users in Africa, 25 million in Europe, 22 million in Asia, and 11 million in Australia. So those are the breakdowns there for you. Okay, moving on, Google Plus, just like the other social networks, is suitable for all media types. So regardless of whether you're sharing photos, text, links, videos, great thing about Google Plus is they own, or Google I should say, is they own YouTube. So you're going to be able to share and integrate your YouTube videos super easy right into your Google Plus business page and what have you. Now, regardless of whether you use a personal computer or a laptop, tablet, smartphone, you're going to be able to use Google Plus and reach out to people who do. Now, just to give you some numbers on the statistics here, they actually don't show up, but over 80% of people who use social media do so from their smartphones. Okay, so that should say something to you, right? The majority of people are taking their social media with them everywhere they go, whether it be work, to the park, to a dinner, everywhere. they're going to have their phone with them. So you're going to be able to reach out to people throughout all times of the day. And there are certain times that are actually more important to do than others, and we will go over that more when we get to the strategy part of this call. Okay, but the number one reason that we love Google Plus is it is free for you, right? So it's going to be completely free advertising. It's not going to cost you a dime. It might take some elbow grease, but for those of you who have a lot invested in this financially speaking, you're not going to have to worry about spending another penny to do this. So, okay, so with that said, let's go ahead and show you what you're going to want to do first here. So the first thing you're going to want to do is set up a Gmail account, set up a personal account for yourself. Now, for those of you with the premium package, we will actually be setting this up for you. So you don't need to worry about that, and then we'll just get that information to you. Having said that, for those of you who don't have that package, that's okay. We will actually be showing you in just a minute how to set up a Google account. And I'm going to be assuming that most of you already have a Gmail account set up. Okay, the next you're going to want to do is add photos and update your profile. If you don't, Google's going to think you're not taking them serious, and that's not a good thing, right? You want their algorithm to really recognize you. So you're definitely going to want to include keywords, for instance, in your about section, which is going to tip off their algorithm that, that's basically what you do. Okay, and then after you get your personal information and whatnot set up, then you can go ahead and create your company page. Now you're going to try and use the same name that you do for your other networks, and this is for branding. I think everybody out there understands the importance of branding. I mean, just to give you a small example, basically McDonald's, right? Anytime you see those golden arches, you know that it's McDonald's, regardless of what city, state, or even country you are in. If you see those, you know that you're going to get, the quality that, McDonald's offers. Whether that's a good thing or bad thing in your opinion, because of their branding, right? So very important that you set that up. Okay, and then you're also going to want to add a Google Plus button to your site so people can plus your site. That's very similar to the buttons. It's almost impossible to go to a website now and not see the social media buttons that are on there. Let me go ahead and give you a small example with this. So here is an example site that we have set up for you. But as you can see right here, this is what I'm talking about. We also have them up here. For some reason, we have them really close. Most sites aren't going to do that, but this is just an example site here. But you have Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and Google+, right? And you're going to definitely want to integrate all of those buttons into your site, okay? And the reason why is about 10 years ago, for those of you who use the internet a lot and who have used it in the past can attest that the internet was a pretty stagnant place before as far as social activity goes, right? And I like to liken it unto a vending machine. So basically you could go there, as far as stores are concerned, but it was just pretty stagnant. Like you could go to forums, you could go to websites, you could buy something, they could spit out the product at you. Sometimes the machine could get jammed. There could be scams out there, right? And it's very similar to a vending machine, right? There was really no interaction. You kind of took a chance when you put your money in. Hopefully, that product comes. And that has completely changed and evolved, especially for businesses now, right? So, you're going to be able to come to, for instance, say this is my site and you are interested in knives and you really like what I'm selling. You're going to be able to come to my social media here and see how I interact with other people. Make sure that I'm a legit company, first of all, right? See how I interact with other people, see how they interact with me. You can kind of gauge my knowledge level. And as you can see, what this does is it actually turns your business from a vending machine more into a storefront where there's an actual person with a personality, with knowledge. You can go to them and ask questions. And that is kind of the difference between the internet without social media and the internet with social media. So, for those of you who may have heard that social media is just a trend, that it's not really going to go anywhere, I definitely want to dispel that myth for you right now. Social media is not going anywhere ever, unless everybody turns into a robot and we don't need to be social anymore, right? It's just so imperative that you do it. It builds that bridge between you and your customer as a business. So definitely very good analogy for you to to help you understand why social media is so important. But make sure that you get these buttons added. Again, we go over that in this video right here, the social dashboard part of this intro video, of intro video number 4. Just make sure that if you don't know how to do it, that's fine. Please give us a call and our support team will be happy to get this set up for you. Okay, again, for you hands-on people, do it yourself, this video right here will show you how to do that. Okay, so with that said, let's go ahead and change gears here. So we've kind of discussed why you should be doing social media, why you should be doing Google+. Let's go ahead and show you how to set up an account. Okay, so when you first come to google.com and you click up, creating a page or whatnot in the top right here, you should see something very similar to this. Okay, where you can sign in or whatnot. I'm going to go ahead and click on create an account. And as you can see here are just some of the services that Google offers to their customers, but it is phenomenal, the things that Google offers. And all of their services are integrated, and they're especially integrated into Google+. So for instance, you've got Google Search, you've got Gmail, you've got Google Chrome, YouTube, Maps, and of course you got the Play Store, right? For those of you who have Android or smartphones, you're going to have all of that there. So what you're going to want to do, now this is probably one of the more complicated social media networks to sign up for, or basically setting up a Gmail, but when you get all these services and whatnot, you can see why. But having said that, it's still really easy to set up. So you just, put in your name here, you choose your, what you want your email to be, create your password, confirm your password, put in your birthday, put in your gender, and then you can put in your mobile phone number right here. That's very important, just in case you get locked out of your account. Google can actually text you a security code to reset your password, right? So for those of you who are worried about passwords, we have so many nowadays, right? This is going to be a big help for you. Plus, they can do other things with it as well. They can verify that you are an actual person. Will help with your business as well. So go ahead and set up your, go ahead and put in this caption right here, select your location. Most of you are going to be United States, but some of you, I know we do have clients in New Zealand, in Europe, UK, Australia, that sort of thing. So go ahead and select your location and then just go ahead and click that you agree to the terms. Okay. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and assume that most of you already have your account. So I'm going to go ahead and sign into my account here. Okay. Go ahead and add that. Okay, so we are currently signed in now. So at this point, this is basically what you're going to see when you're on Google, right? If you just go to google.com, very simple. Now, up here in the top right, this is what I want you to take note of. Now, as you can see here, I'm already signed up for Google+. So you can access it this way. You can access your Gmail right here. You can access some of their other additional apps right here. You can read your notifications right there. But the important thing to take note of is this top right picture. Now, most of you probably aren't going to have your picture updated yet. You're probably just going to have a gray box there. And if you do, that's fine. That's not going to update until you actually do that. So all you need to do is just click right there and then go ahead and click on View Profile. So this is where I want all of you to come when you first come here. Okay, great. So this is a profile. So as you can see, I've already uploaded my photo here and have a background here. Excuse me. Okay, and this is the post. So this is basically the post section right here. So what we need to do here is go to the About section, and this is the first place you're going to want to come. You're going to want to update your information here, your education, your work, places, links, what have you. Again, very important that you do this first before you even start with your business profile and whatnot. Now, Google Plus is actually, I know it's more complicated, but that's only because you can actually do so much with it, right? For instance, it's almost like a Facebook and a Twitter and several other social media accounts combined all into one. And so that, in that sense, it's actually more complicated. But as far as being able to do things, in my opinion, it's actually easier. For instance, when I uploaded this profile picture, you can click right there and you can, do it the old way of just finding your photo, through folders and whatnot. But something that's really easy, maybe for some of you, is you can actually just, take that photo and drag and drop it right into the browser, and it will just automatically upload for you. So you don't even need to worry about, going through, is it on the desktop, is it in the picture folder, and then trying to navigate to that. You can just drag and drop right in there. And same with your cover and whatnot. So very, very simple to do. Okay, so once you get this updated, okay, this is going to what we're going to want to do now is create our business page. Very simple. Now what you'll take note of here is on the top left over here is where it says profile right now is the drop down. So this is the profile, people, photos, communities, events, hangouts, pages, local, and settings. Now we are going to go through most of these today, or at least explain them to you so you know what they are. But this is basically Google's navigational bar. So for those of you who are familiar with Facebook or Twitter, their navigational bars are up top, right? So you have on Facebook, you have your notifications. It's a little globe. You have your search bar. Same with Twitter, you have your search bar. You can do tweets up there with the blue button, that sort of thing. So with with Google Plus, it's going to be here on the top left, and then it just drops down. And then that bar hides when you're done selecting what you want to do. Okay, so the first place we're going to come, we've already done profile. Let's go ahead and show you pages first, because we're going to want to set up a business page. Now this is where all of you are going to want to come for your page. Again, for those of you who haven't, we will be doing this for you. As you can see, I've already created several example pages here. But what we'll want to do here is go ahead and click on Create Page. Okay, and this is very important. This is going to ask you what type of business you are. Some of you, if you have a brick and mortar store, very important that you select this one, and I'll go over that in just a minute why. Most of you who sell products nationally, who you're just selling things online, you're going to want to pick this one, the product or brand. Okay, or actually no, I'm sorry, the company or institution right here. My bad. Facebook actually has these reversed. So product or brand you will select if you are the owner of the product or the brand per se, so you have the rights to that. You'll go ahead and select that. If you are just selling products, you'll probably want to select company or institution. Okay. Now, the reason why it's important if you are a local business is because, let me give you an example here, but when people go to Google, let's say, and they search for businesses, let's just do an example that everybody knows, right? Like Pizza Hut. Okay. As you can see right here, when I typed in Pizza Hut, it pulls up a map of the nearest Pizza Hut to me, right? It gives me their address, their phone number, prices, their hours of operation. I can even look at their menus. And then most importantly right here is I can read reviews about them, right? So if you are a local business, it is actually imperative that you choose this setting right here, just because you're not going to have access to this panel right here, or it's not going to display this for your customers when they search for you unless you have selected local. And the reason why is Google needs to confirm that you are the owner of this business and that that location is correct. And how they do that is once you select this and you set up your address in there, it will actually send you a physical postcard through the US postal system. And on that postcard will actually be a code that you will come back in here and verify that you received that, basically, to verify that you are the owner of the business and that location. Once you have done that, you will have this, basically. You will be able to set up, the map of your location, your reviews, and it is absolutely imperative for your SEO to do this as well, right? If you're getting reviews on here, that is just going to bump you up big time as far as when people search for you, especially if they're positive, right? Now Pizza Hut right now, for whatever reason, they have a pretty low review. Could be the service, I don't know. But whatever it is, most of you are going to really rely on these reviews if you are a local business. Okay, having said that, let's go ahead and set up a product or brand here, just show you how to do this. Now this will be very similar for all three of these. But again, because majority of you are going to fall into one of these two, I'm just going to go ahead and set it up here. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to go ahead and find a category that fits for your niche, whatever product that you're selling, and they have tons of them. If you don't find something that works for you, down here at the very bottom, you can actually choose brand, other, product, or service. Okay, so you can just kind of pick whatever works for you. Let's see here. So let's go ahead and pick other, and we'll go ahead and select next. Okay. And so I'm going to go ahead and think up a business name here. So this isn't a real business, people. So let's go ahead and do kitchenware uh, for you. Okay. So let's say that that's our business name. Let's say our business site is bestkitchenwareforyou.com. Okay. Now, obviously, I don't really own this site. I'm just making this up as we go here. And by the way, it doesn't matter if you have those caps or not. But what you'll want to do after you get your URL in there, or your address for your website, go ahead and select what type of user this content is appropriate for. Almost all of you are going to be selecting Google Plus users. If your content is a little bit more for mature audiences, you can go ahead and select the other ones accordingly. Once you do that, go ahead and click on I agree. You can read the terms and conditions there if you'd like. Again, it's completely free, not going to cost you anything. And I'm already assuming majority of you have probably already done this. So let's go ahead and click on continue. We'll let it work its magic. Okay, great. So we are done. So the page is now set up. Now at this point, Google Plus is going to give us a walkthrough. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Go ahead and click on Get Started. You can open your page and skip this walkthrough if you want. I'm just going to go ahead and show you really quick. So you click on Get Started, and it has 4 steps here. Make a better impression by completing your profile. Again, we'll come back to that in just a sec. But once you get your page set up, the first thing you're going to want to do is set up your profile. Okay, people want to hear from you. You can start sharing. This is what we're going to come to when we get to the strategy section of this call. We'll go ahead and skip that. Make sure you get notified. We'll go ahead and skip that one, and then you can change your identity. Very simply, you can switch back and forth just by clicking right here. Actually, let's go ahead and cancel that. And that's how you can do that, is you can switch back and forth by clicking right there. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is go in here and update your profile for your page. Now, as you can see, we are on dashboard, and as you can see here, we actually have, let's see, yeah, so we have no activity yet. So this is going to show us what's currently there. So let's say that you go ahead, you've got your profile updated. We've already kind of gone over how to do that. Just click on the profile section up here. But go ahead, and this is where you're going to be able to share stuff. So again, you can type your message in here. With Facebook, you are limited, but you can still type a lot. With Twitter, you are limited to 140 characters. So Twitter is meant to be a very fast-paced, conversational-like, more of a launching pad for your social media. And Google Plus, you are limited as well to something like 1 billion characters. So with that said, you're going to be able to basically keep it as short or as long as you want. You can just write a full-on book in here, literally. Not that I recommend doing that, but you could. You can go ahead and upload photos with it, which is going to be very important when you are sharing your products. We will come back to that. You can share links, which you should be doing as well. Links to your website, links to blogs if you are writing those. You can embed videos directly from YouTube right into your post. So simple. Very easy. Just click on that. In the interest of time, we're not going to go through all of these, step by step, but they're very, very simple. And if you do have questions about those, you can always call us and we can go over that in more detail. But then we also have events over here. Events are useful for those of you who are local businesses, right? And you need to host an event. For those of you who have questions about, well, should I be doing events? If you're asking yourself that question, you probably don't need to be doing events. So this is for people who know what type of business they are and they know that they need to be doing events. That's what this is for. So majority of you probably aren't going to be worrying about that. Okay, and then right here is where you're going to choose who to send it to. And this is basically going to be using your circles. Circles are what's basically Google Plus's way of saying friends, right? So for those of you who are familiar with Facebook, you have friends on there. Google Plus has circles. Now, the important thing to take note of with circles, and we will go over that here in just a little bit more detail, but it's basically almost like Facebook and Twitter combined as far as the friends, right? And what I mean by that is you can be friends with each other like you are on Facebook, but you can also choose to add people into your circles or basically your friends group who haven't accepted you back, believe it or not, right? And that's in that regard, it's like Twitter, because on Twitter you can choose to follow people, but they don't have to follow you back, so to speak. And so very very cool that you can do that, and that's going to help you as a business, especially because you're going to be able to reach out to more people that way. As you can see, we're just reaching out to everybody right here, so anybody can see this post. But if you wanted to keep your post private and just send it to specific people only, you can actually do that. So you're going to be able, like on Twitter, if you post, anybody has the right to look that up. On this one, you can actually choose, do you want it to go to public? If not, X out of this and choose who you want it to go to, right? You can have your VIP customers. You might have a sale that you just want to offer to your top of the line, top clients, right? Maybe you have some inventory that you need to move, and so, but you want to reward, the ones who have rewarded you, so to speak. You can do that. You can send it strictly to your customers only, so all of your customers that are out there. And so, very, very useful. And I will show you how to set that up here in just a second. But basically, this is the dashboard. It's going to be showing very similar to your timeline on, Twitter and Facebook as well. When you first log in, it shows you different posts from other people as well as the posts that you're doing in your activity. As you can see, we don't have any activity yet. Okay, but let's go ahead and move down here. So the next thing is circles. So let's go ahead and go over that in a little bit more detail. Again, circles is just a way of talking about the friends that you have. The reason why they call them circles is because, as you will see here, you're actually able to overlap your friends group. So for instance, if this big blue one right here, you can only see half of it, but if that represents your total customer base, right? Maybe this green one represents your VIPs, right? Or it could just represent people who you feel could buy from you but haven't yet, right? So maybe they are customers, maybe they're not, you don't know, but you can have the same people into two different categories, right? So this blue one could be your total customer base, this green one could be your VIPs, right? So some of them are going to be customers as well. Some VIPs might not be customers, and so that's why this is separated. So how you can do that is you just go ahead and click on these, and you can actually add people to them. You can just start typing a name right here. To do that, you can click on, we'll come back to this find people right here. But basically, you can create as many circles as you want. It's actually really neat. So you're not limited to just what these are right here. You're going to be able to create whatever you want, whatever you feel is going to be useful for you. Go ahead and do right here. You can even have an employees circle right here. So if you wanted to, if you started to get a little bigger, you have other people helping you, you can go ahead and send, posts out just to them, for instance. But how you can go ahead and find people to add to these, go ahead and click on find people. And you can search for anyone right here. So whether you're friends with them already on your personal Google Plus, or if you're not, that's okay. You can still search for them right here and try to pull up. And of course, you can see all the people who have added you to their circles. Okay, so very, very useful. I know it's confusing in the beginning, but the best way to think about it is it's just your friends, right? Just like Facebook friends, but you get some additional things that you can do with it that you can't do with Facebook friends. Okay, so moving on, this is photos. This is going to be a section that you're going to be able to upload photos about your products that can be useful for your customers to come into. But also, for those of you who have smartphones, for instance, and have the Android operating system, and even if you don't, that's okay. You can still, if you have an iPhone, you'll still be able to use this. You can actually upload your photos directly into this. As you can see, back up from your phone, right? Regardless of whether you have an iPhone or an Android phone, you're going to be able to do that. You can also upload photos from your computer, which a lot of you will probably be doing this if you're doing products, right? Because you already have those photos. But you'll be doing that right here. So as far as doing it from your phone, you could find business use for this, most definitely. But this will probably be a feature you will find more for personal use, right? So if you take photos with your phone of your grandkids or your children or just whatever, you're going to be able to upload that to your Google Drive, and that's going to save that for you. Okay, so that is the photo section. Moving on, we have communities here. And again, I know I'm moving at a breakneck speed here, but we just have so much to cover and so little time. So I know that we are going fast, and I definitely want this to be a relaxed feeling, even though we are going fast. And the way I envision it, and I know this probably isn't the case, the way I envision it is all of you have a bowl of popcorn, and you're just kind of kicking back and watching this and just taking in what you can and just very relaxed. Okay, I don't want this to be a super stressful thing for you. Just kind of take in as much as you can. Know that we are here for you for any questions you have, and you have all the time in the world to come back and review these webinars again and again and again until you feel like you really understand it. Okay, so moving on, this is communities right here. And communities are going to be very, very important for you, especially in the beginning when you're trying to set up and establish your business name, right, and your reputation. So what you're going to want to do is come in here. Now, the example I used is kitchenware, right? So let's go ahead and type in kitchen. You can use keywords here. You can even use phrases. But as you can see here, we've pulled up some results. Don't know if I necessarily like that. Let's go ahead and, let's go back here. Let's just type in cookware. Okay, there we go. So here's a better example here. But basically, as you can see, there are going to be tons of communities out there. So this one has 15, this one has 12, 14. This one's probably going to be much better. I mean, I know it's cast iron cooking, but as you can see, there's a lot more members in it, right? And there's a lot more posts going on. So what these are is basically all of the people who are part of these communities, and most of these communities you can just are open to join for you, so you can just go in and join. And it's just people who have the similar interests. So if you love cast iron cooking, you're going to be able to come in here and talk about it, right? You can share the health benefits of using cast iron pots versus Teflon. You can discuss the different recipes you might use in cast iron pots or how long they last, right? They last forever. And so by coming in here, you're going to be able to join this conversation of all these people, and you can start adding your 2 cents and start communicating just like you would on Twitter almost, right? And then people are going to see that you're a business from your profile picture as well as your business name from your page and whatnot, because we are using Google Plus as our business right now. You're going to be able to go in there and contribute, and people are going to discover you that way, right? So I don't care who you are or what you're selling. I guarantee you that there are people out there at this very minute right now buying something, buying what you're selling. They're just not buying it from you. And the reason why is because they don't know you're there. It's that simple. And so going into a community, it can be as simple as that. You can just go in and start contributing. And 2 things are going to happen with that. Number 1, you're going to get more brand awareness, right? Because people are going to see that. They're going to be able to see your posts and the different things that you've done in there, which is going to contribute overall to your knowledge, right? People are going to know you're knowledgeable, but also it's going to be contributing to your SEO again, right? The more you use your Google Plus as yourself, the more relevant you're going to be proving that you are to Google. It's that simple. Okay, so communities, very great place for you to come in the beginning. Just come in here. You can search for whatever you feel is going to work for your niche and just start creating. You can even create a community, or you can just join them. Try and find communities, if you will, that have a lot of members in them, because that's going to yield you the most results. If you find a community with maybe 5 people in it, 10 people, like some of those other ones we were looking at, probably not going to yield you very much, right? Because, your work that you're doing is reaching out to 10 people instead of 37,000 people. Okay, so with that said, that is the communities. Events, we're not really going to go over in much detail. Again, this is going to be for those of you who are hosting local events. You can go in there and set that up. Google Hangouts, again, we're not going to cover really much, but for those of you who are familiar with Skype, that's what Google Hangouts is. I believe you can actually Skype is more of a one-on-one type call. Hangouts, you can have up to 20 people plus. I think it might be capped at 20, but they might have increased that already, where you can have 20 people on a call, right? And it's video conferencing as well. So you're going to be able to see photos, or, if you have a camera, you'll be able to actually see the video of yourself when you talk. So very, very nifty. Again, this is completely free. These are all the services that Google offers. It's pretty amazing how much they can give you. Some of you might find use for this for your businesses, though. And for those of you who do, that's what this does. Google Pages, we've already gone over. If we were to click here again, as you can see, it's going to save all of the pages that we've created. Some of you might have more than one business, or for whatever reason, might have more than one page. And if that's the case, this is where you will come to manage them. Okay, local, again, this is where you're going to set up your local information and what have you, and then of course settings. Now settings, you can go in there. The main thing to point out here is you're going to be able to choose when you get email notifications for various things. For instance, if someone replies to a post that you've done, you're going to be able to get a notification in your email. Why is that important? Well, for those of you who might not be coming to social media, in this case Google Plus, every single day, you still need to be notified if people do reply, right? And you're not here, because if someone replies to you and it just happens to be your off day and you're busy with other things, you don't get back to it till the following day or maybe the day after. I guarantee you, if that was a customer, they're probably already gone. I mean, usually when you buy things, just think of yourself, right? If you really want to buy something, you can be patient, and that's fine, but majority people are just kind of, well, if they're not going to reply, I'll just go to someone else who will, and so it's that simple. So that could be very, very useful for you. So with that said, I know we've covered a lot. We're almost done here, and then you can all breathe here, but let's go ahead and go back to our page here. Okay. Just going to go back. Okay, so here's the dashboard again. So let's go ahead and discuss different strategies of what you should be doing. Now, the first question that always pops up is, how often should I be posting, right? And the answer to that is 2 to 3 times a week. That's what we will tell you every time. Having said that, if you are very advanced user and you feel like you can just really dive in and start doing more, start with 5. Go ahead and you can do more. If you are not advanced, if you feel like you are kind of a novice, this is very new to you and is all overwhelming, you can start at 1. Please start at 1. I don't, when we say 2 to 3, it's not set in stone. Some businesses, in fact, it might require you to do more than 2 to 3. Some might require you to do less, but we recommend that the sweet spot is around 2 to 3 times a week for you. Okay, and the next question that almost always pops up is, okay, that's great. Now what should we be talking about? Okay, so the first thing that I want to impress upon you is you're going to want to excuse me, you're going to want to discuss helpful information. Okay, so there are ideal customers out there, your ideal customers, who are the people who are buying your products right now. So they are the people who are interested in what you are selling. Okay, and there is a demographic to them. There is something that sets them apart from everybody else, be it their age, their location, whether they're male or female. For instance, if you're up in, freezing the north, let's say you're in Canada, you're probably not going to have much success selling popsicles to Eskimos, right? Subsequently, if you're in Africa, setting up a hot cocoa stand there, in 120 degree weather, you're probably not going to have much success with that either, right? So there are certain characteristics. I know that's kind of a silly example, but hopefully that illustrates the point to you that there are differences between customers, right? The people who are going to buy from you. And so you need to understand that. You need to understand who they are. Now, this is something that you probably have somewhat of an understanding of, but maybe not perfect. And even if you do think you have a perfect understanding of it, I guarantee you'll have something to learn, and you will learn that in the next couple of months. Just because in time, that's something that will come to you. You'll understand what your customers want to hear. For instance, you might be doing some posts and you don't get any response. That could be because of time of day, but mainly that it could be just your content is just not engaging enough for them to really want to take the time to come and read it or look at it. And so you need to get into your customers' heads and ask yourself, what are they talking about? What do they want to hear from me, right? And you're going to be able to search for those things in the communities. You're going to be able to respond to them here in your posts. Okay, so I'll give you an example. If you sell fishing gear, right, fishing poles, that sort of thing, you can go ahead and write blogs about that, and you can share your blogs in here. You can share tips on how to fish. What's the best technique for fishing? What are the best poles or equipment that you generally like, or what on your site that you sell. You could do how-to guides. You can share personal experiences of when you went fishing as a kid or even last week, right? Your customers are going to eat this stuff up. You can share this day in history. You can share recipes on how to cook different fish, right? That the list is endless with helpful information. But when you understand your customer, you're going to be able to share that, and they're going to eat that stuff up. That's what's going to get their attention. Something else that's very important for you to do is share products. You should do this at least once a week, and you should do it with photos. You should never, ever share a product without a photo. Very, very boring if you just come in here and, put, fishing pole. Let's just, let's say best fishing pole. Only, let's say $50. Come check out our website. Sorry, my fingers are not awake yet today. So, and then you can just go ahead and put, whatever website is there. Okay. So, very, very important for you to add a picture. This is very boring. It's not engaging at all, right? Pictures are worth 1,000 words, and that's what's going to catch your customers' attentions. And just to give you an example, Pinterest, for those of you who are familiar with Pinterest, now it is mainly female dominated. So if you are a man, it's okay if you've never even heard of Pinterest. But Pinterest was actually the #1 social media site for directing people to websites last year. So that should give you an idea of how important pictures are. And I actually saw a statistic, and I don't know how in the world they could possibly measure this or come up with this, but they said that a picture will register in your brain something like 2 million times faster than text. Okay, so it is just very stimulating. So always do photos when you do your products. But it is important that you do your products. If people don't know what you're selling, they can't really buy from you, right? You're also going to want to do sales and competitions. Very, very important for this as well. Just to give you an example, Oreo did a competition where they said whoever likes our page on Facebook or whoever chooses to follow us on Twitter is going to get a free package of Oreos. Okay, so very, very spectacular for them. Within a couple hours, they already had several million followers who on Twitter, and then several million likes on Facebook, just because everybody wanted a free package of Oreos. Now, again, I don't expect you to have the branding or even the capacity, the financial capacity, so to speak, to even do something like that. But that should illustrate the point that you should be doing competitions and stuff to make it fun. Majority of people who go to social media are doing so to save money. Okay, and then lastly, just be personal with your customers, and this can involve several things. #1, it could be involve, if there's an event going on in the world, talk about it. Be it a natural disaster. You can say our hearts are out with the people of the Philippines right now because of their big hurricane. As you know, this last summer there was a lot of hurricanes down there. If there's a sporting event like the Olympics or something going on, you can go ahead and discuss that, or the Super Bowl, or any kind of sporting event, what have you. You're going to be able to go and, cheer on your favorite athletes or even your favorite teams, okay? And it just adds that personal touch. And lastly, I would recommend that you tell jokes. It sounds silly, right? But if you watch TV, almost every commercial you see on TV now is funny and humorous. And why? Because when something makes you laugh, you're going to remember it that much more. And so if you share a funny joke, as long as it's not offensive or whatnot, you're going to be able to reach out to all of your different customers that way. And people can share your joke even, and you're going to be getting your name out there that much more. So that's kind of a start for you. Again, we are going to be uploading all of these and more suggestions as far as these guides when they are coming. They should be here very shortly. Sometimes this goes up and down as we are updating it as well. So just be aware of that. With that said, let's go ahead and open it to questions. For any of you who have questions, let's go ahead and do that, and then we will wrap up the call.